When someone is romantically obsessed with you, they usually will try to hide it. But make no mistake, you can feel it. And if you're not into them, it does not feel good. Limerence is the word for when a person is so infatuated with someone who isn't interested in them that it becomes like an addiction, very destructive for their life, and it takes them out of important things about real life, present time issues. But it's also harmful to the person who is the limerent object, and that's the word for a person someone else is limerent on. My letter today is from a woman I'll call Romy, and she writes, "Dear crappy childhood fairy, I'm trying to salvage a very dear friendship. I've been friends with H for nearly a decade. All right, I've got my fairy pencil. I'm going to circle things that I want to come back to on a second reading, but let's read all the way through Romy's letter and see what's going on." Okay. She says, "While it started out with him being interested in me romantically, that never panned out. There is a bit of an age difference, and it started at a time when I was super avoidant. So I basically just ignored his increasing text messages until he quit contacting me. We run in the same social circles, so at some point we encountered each other out and about. I'm an extremely extroverted person," she says. "My profession requires me to interact with a lot of people from different walks of life. I'm also very eclectic with my interests, so I find it easy to strike up a conversation with just about anyone. I guess this led to us conversing again and eventually forming a friendship with clear boundaries. Over the course of our friendship, I've been in dating relationships and some years ago began seeing my current significant other. H knows him. We've hung out together many times. I recently became engaged. My friendship with H was such. Maybe every 2 weeks or once a month, he might text and ask if I wanted to meet up with him and some other friends to go to a game, or if there was something going on in town, if I was going and wanted to catch up over a drink. Pretty standard logistical messages of who, what, when kind of stuff. I'm not saying the conversations never got deeper. Usually, how's work? How's the family? There were points where we both had family members experiencing a major health crisis, and we would discuss that. We don't touch. I'm not a touchy person to begin with, and as a woman with several male friends, I believe this can send the wrong signal. So no hugs, no placing a hand on the shoulder or arm, etc. Over the course of the last 2 months, H has begun to text me with increasing frequency, and now it's always, I hope your day is going well, I hope work is less hectic for you, and random crap, I guess, just to get a response from me. This isn't the norm. He started to send me lengthy messages during working hours, and instead of every 2 weeks, it's every 2 days. He's continuing offering to help me with the major life events I have going on. Common form, yeah, we talk about that. With the major life events I have going on, and even so far as to offer to cancel his plans months from now to do so, and apologizing continuously for, well, just being, I guess. Some of it has been really manipulative, I think, to get to see me and find out what I'm doing. Some of it has been downright bizarre. I started to feel really uncomfortable with him, which I hate. Some of my friends noticed and said they think he's in love with me. I started researching and found limerence, which I understand can be triggered by an engagement. I've decided to cut back on contact, try to make life as boring as possible, and limit in-person interaction. In retrospect, I think this has been going on longer than I realized. H used to tell me about women he was talking to. There's been none of that lately. Really, not much of what he's doing with friends either. Yeah, sounds like limerence. I really do not want H pining away for me, waiting for me to text him back or be available to spend time with him. He's a very good guy and deserves to enjoy his hobbies and find someone he can be with. Even if I were not engaged, he and I are not compatible in any way. I'm a very independent person, and the constant texting is suffocating. We also have very different core values. I also hate to think that I'm overthinking this, that I found limerence in every interaction since is just confirmation bias. No, it's not. Am I way off base here? If I'm his limerent object, is there anything I can do to save the friendship? I feel like I'm hurting him no matter what I do, and I really do not want to hurt my friend. I should add, my fiance knows all about what's going on. He's also worried H is going through something. Thanks for your time. All right. All right, Romy, this is, I can help with this. There's a pretty clear-cut answer, and you probably dread it. I know you didn't want to hear it, but you're not being kind by allowing this relationship to continue. It seems like it because to you, this is a friend. He's a nice person. You can see he's just sort of going, tipping over into a bad direction here. But because this has been going on 10 years, it's really clear this is not going to get better. Like, given an opportunity to stay in contact with you, that the limerent tendency will just keep activating. Now, if he wrote to me, which he hasn't, but if he did, I would tell him, you're not going to want to hear this, but you need to cut contact with this woman. She's your friend. She's been nice to you, but what you're doing here is cutting yourself off from the opportunity to find real love, and probably a lot of other things too. Limerence is it's almost like right up there with a hardcore drug addiction. It will keep your consciousness occupied, hijacked, always trying to get the next hit. And the hit for a person with limerence is hope. He's trying to get hope, like that he's going to see you, that somehow he'll think of the right way to tip his hand without tipping his hand, and you'll go, oh my gosh, I realized all along that it's you that I loved. And that is the hope of a limerent. But a limerent never actually comes right out and says, listen, I just have to tell you I'm in love with you, and before you marry this other guy, I just have to get this on the table. In limerence, people won't do that. And you know why? Because they already know the answer. They just can't face it. And so the hope, it feels like what's keeping them going. They feel that they need that hope, or life is just going to be too bleak. But that's how people feel about heroin when they're addicted to it. I just can't let it go. And letting go has a very painful transition phase. And then there's freedom. And then you can't go back to it. And I encourage people with limerence that's like dug in like this. It's not just a little thing for 2 weeks, that it's got to go. And also, because you're getting married, even though your husband or your future husband, your fiance, seems to be supportive and caring about each party here, it is better for your marriage not to have entanglements with anybody who has feelings for you. That's just, it robs your emotional availability in ways that you can't necessarily see, but that can be felt, that nervous systems recognize. And that's one of the biggest things that people can do to clear up their emotional availability and make their light shine bright, their cab light, what I call the cab light. To be truly to feel like an available person is to end entanglements where one of you has attraction or desire to rekindle. And, some people want to keep those going because they're kind of fun and they're harmless. And I don't object, but if it's causing problems, I suspect your friend H here is, his life is quite empty. He said he doesn't even talk to women. He's pulling away from friends. It just sounds like a drug addiction, right? And in a way it is. It's getting a hit of hope that keeps it going. And it's sad. Limerence, I've heard there's a genetic component, but largely what I notice is it falls on people. It's a tendency in some people who were really emotionally neglected as kids. I see it a lot in kids of alcoholics, or kids who just didn't get paid attention to or cared for or guided. And so you get so good at seeing love where there is no love that you end up with some distorted perception in adulthood. You have too good of a imagination there that the signals that you're getting are secret code for, but it's you I really love. And so that's the hope. There's going to be a reciprocation. And, some people spend years in that space, and that's tragic. It's better to be sad for a while and move on and open up one's life to actual love. So that's the gift you can give him by ending contact. So here's what you do. I've had to do that a couple times with people. I've been on both ends of this. I've had it done to me. I've had to do it to others. And you just say, I need to end this friendship right now. I feel that there's a romantic energy, and that's not healthy for where I'm going in my life. And so thank you for being such a good friend all these years, but I can't spend time with you anymore. I wish you the best. So you break up with the friend. I know it sounds hard, but you'd be surprised how good it feels when it's done. Because what he's doing right now, let's be honest, it's uncomfortable for you. It's encroaching. It's invasive. Your intuition knows there's some sort of imaginary thing going on with you, and that feels creepy. So even good people do this, but it's not good for anybody. So I encourage you to end it as kindly as you can, and then open up your life to your marriage, and maybe do a little gut check on any other friendships with male friends that might be tinged with the sort of energy that is keeping anybody stuck. Some people are serial limerent objects, and that can sometimes be a sign of something else again, where Serial limerent objects love to inspire limerence in others and give them hope, but not deliver the goods, not actually be with them, because they feed off of it. So I don't hear you doing that, but just, for anybody listening, like, both parties can be harmed and go into a very negative state over this. It's better to have our relationships be clean and straightforward, no subterfuge, no secret agenda, honest feelings expressed. And I get it, like in a new courtship or something, you don't have to run out and declare your feelings. That might be inappropriate. There's a time for everything, but 10 years into a friendship is well overdue. So good luck with that. If you're watching this and you want tips for how to get your life ready for a great relationship and become more emotionally available, I've got a free download for you right here, and I will see you very soon.